Hello everyone and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I am broadcasting to you live from Budapest, capital city of Hungary. I hope everybody's doing great today as we get into our IELTS Writing Task 2 Band 9 example. As usual, our materials come from our websites. For general IELTS, check us out at IELTShelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. Of course, the reading and writing sections are different for general IELTS, so keep that in mind. Hi, Afak. Hi, Jazzy Prince. Good to see some students joining in. For academic IELTS, check us out at aehelp.com. That's academicenglishhelp.com. On both of those websites, we have tons and tons of materials for you to improve your IELTS band scores. This is what the general IELTS homepage looks like at gieltshelp.com. Join the premium course, click that big red button. Then you can access your My Student account. And in your My Student account, you will find a fully interactive course with lots and lots of instructions. Then you will also find the books, video lessons, and so on. And if you're studying for academic IELTS, go to this website with the blue background and click that big red button to join that course. Hello, Marina Mint from the North Pole. What are you doing at the North Pole, Marina? Not too much happening there, if I'm not mistaken. All right, let's hop back here. You can get our books from Amazon. Search for GE Helps General IELTS or A Helps Academic IELTS for our practice exams. If you have questions, email me, Adrian at gieltshelp.com. Hi, social networking. Good to see you on our General IELTS channel. All right, students, live classes for General IELTS on this channel from 13:30 to 14:30 Central European Time. Just type CET into Google, and it should show you the time zone difference. Today, Task 2, writing question. Tomorrow, some general IELTS reading strategy. Hi, Bagshot. Good to see members coming in on these general IELTS classes as well. Students, today we're doing a Task 2 writing, and as many of you know, Task 2 in general IELTS for writing and in the academic IELTS are quite similar. Okay, in many ways, they're very, very similar. All right. Hi, Bellatrix from Padua, North Italy. Okay, students, let's take a peek at today's question. Here it is. IELTS Writing Task 2. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Definitely spend 40 minutes. Students, do not take time away from your Task 2. It is very important that you have 40 minutes for your Task 2. Okay? All right. In the past, people spent more of their free time with arts and crafts. However, these days, people spend much of their free time with digital devices rather than being creative with their hands. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this development? Marina, you have family living near the North Pole? Don't tell me it's Santa Claus. You're gonna freak me out. All right, students, on a serious note, so here is our question. You need to write at least 250 words. For high bands, band 7, band 8, you're going to be closer to 300 words, certainly, maybe even over 300 words. Okay, it's 250 words minimum, at least 250 words. What should we do? What's our step number 1 here? Some students already know what to do. When you read the question, you firstly need to make sure that you clearly understand what the question is asking. The number 1 mistake still that students often make is writing off topic. As soon as you go off topic, your English doesn't matter anymore. So even if you have good English, good grammar, good vocabulary, if you are writing off topic, your band score will skyrocket downwards, okay? So you really have to make sure that you're targeting the question specifically. One of the most important points or tips that I can tell you to get high IELTS band scores in your speaking and in your writing is to be specific with your answer, okay? Not general. Too many students answer questions generally. It's not a good idea. Bagshot says, paraphrase that question to make sure that you understand it. Absolutely, Bagshot, you're right. Bagshot has been a student of ours for a while. It's great. So you have a good idea of what to do, and it shows in the level of your English communication, Bagshot. All right, so paraphrase the question as step one. Let's do that as a separate line. So paraphrase the question. This will ensure that you truly understand it, and it will help you to gather useful vocabulary as well as collect great ideas or specific ideas relating to the question. Okay, so that's why you want to paraphrase the question. That should always be your first step. Whether you're practicing task 2 writing at home or sitting in the real IELTS exam, you really want to paraphrase the question as your step number 1. Okay, that's very important. So let's do that now, students. Let's paraphrase this question. Again, in the past, people spent more of their free time with arts and crafts. However, these days people spend much of their free time with digital devices rather than being creative with their hands. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this development? So say that question in your own words. Remember from yesterday's class with paraphrasing, you can use synonyms, antonym negatives, expressions, description, grammar. There's lots of ways to do it. Okay, Bagshot, you're on the ball. You've already put up some of your paraphrasing. So before, comma. So Bagshot, when you begin the sentence with the time expression before, put a comma after it. So before, comma, most individuals paid greater attention to arts and crafts in their leisure time. But nowadays, people spend their time with technology, like phones and computers, rather than using their imagination, imaginative skills, and expressing that with their hands. Okay, sure. Okay, the end is a little bit awkward, Bagshot, but overall you have a good idea. Sevgi, good, you're listening to me. So before, individuals whiled away their pastime with carving and painting as well as other crafts. You don't need a period there, just but, comma. Nowadays, people's leisure time has been filled with using digital devices instead of arts. Sure, Sevgi, so you're on the right track. Little bit of grammar mistake there. Students, you should not start sentences with the word and or but. We only do that in narrative style writing. I'm not going to get into that. Just for now, do not begin sentences with the words and, but, or. Those words are used 95% of the time to join sentence elements together, not to begin sentences. So keep that in mind. It's actually a big mistake. So if you have a lot of sentences beginning with and but in your IELTS task 2, your mark will go down. Okay, keep that in mind. All right, I'll do a paraphrasing as well while some of you get your ideas out. Here we go. A while back, I'll do it a little bit different than what a couple students did there. So a while back, individuals used their hands to create art in their leisure time, but nowadays many people spend or use their free time playing with technology instead of expressing their imagination through their craftsmanship. Okay. What are the benefits and deficits of this change? All right, so that's my paraphrasing there to make sure that I understand the question. Jas M. Okay, that's a great effort. I love when students are trying something new. Gone are those days when people devoted their time to arts and crafts. These days, the masses prefer playing with technology. Okay, good. Jas M, I really like how you started that. Gone are those days when people devoted their time to arts and craft. Nowadays, so okay, Jas, don't use a comma after gone are those days. So keep that one. Gone are those days when people devoted their time to art and craft, comma. Nowadays, the masses prefer technology or playing with technology in their leisure time. Okay, good effort there, Jas. Excellent. All right, so we've paraphrased the question, and now we need to figure out our key points. Okay, so what should be our next step? So we've paraphrased, we understand the question. What do I do in my step number 2? And you should do this on paper at home. And to be fast, you can do it in your mind during the official IELTS. So step 2 is what? What should I do after I paraphrase the question? Zinina, I'll think of the background once I get to writing the introduction, which should be after just a couple minutes. Okay, so in the real IELTS, your planning is only 2 minutes. All right. Farhan, that's a good paraphrase as well. Bagshot says, use some critical thinking. Yeah, absolutely. Apply critical thinking, which means identify the topic and controlling idea, and ask what, why, and how. That's right. Okay, so we go through those steps. So what is our topic? We're talking about people's free time. What is the controlling idea? We're talking about using free time to create arts and crafts with our hands versus doing or using that time for technology. Okay, so in the IELTS, you really have to be fast like that. Okay, topic, people's free time, use of people's free time. Okay, and controlling idea is handcrafts versus playing with tech. Okay, so what should we think of next? Good. Pachu says, what are the benefits and drawbacks of this change? Absolutely, Pachu. Good for you. So Pachu's saying, what are the benefits and what are the advantages and disadvantages of this? Okay, so what are the advantages? So what's the advantage of spending our free time with technology? Can anybody give me an answer for that? What's the advantage? What's the benefit that now when we have some free time, we play around with technology? Is there a benefit? There must be. What is it? And then, of course, the second question that we have to answer is, what are the negatives of not using free time for arts and crafts? Okay. So Marina says people stopped using their imagination and just absorb what technology gives them. So that would be a disadvantage, right? So the loss of creativity would be the second question, all right? Sure, but we're trying to answer this first question. What is the advantage of using technology? Jazz says, well, people keep up to date with what's going on in the world. Sevgi says technology is not time consuming. I'm not sure, Sevgi, if I agree with you on that. So you have to be really careful. Try to think about what most people would say is the most popular answer for using technology. So what is the advantage of that? Why do we do it? Just think about it. So when you're using your phone, what do you do? Why do you do it? Okay. Nagar says, using technology helps people to save time in a fast-paced world. Yeah, sure. And do not need to go out to attend activities. It helps people connect. Yeah, sure. And it helps them watch videos and learn knowledge. Patricio, good. So entertainment, right? It's a source of information, right? So what is the advantage of using our time playing with technology? It's a very good source of information and a medium to stay connected with the world. Okay, and we can add in entertainment. So it's a very good source of information and entertainment, as well as a medium to stay connected with the world. Okay, good. So we have a really nice answer for that one. Now we need to have an equally high quality answer for the negatives of not using our time for arts and crafts. So one of our students, Marina, already said, well, it's the loss of creativity. Sure. So if I'm not using my hands to create arts and crafts, I'm losing my creative aptitude, so my ability to be creative. What else? What else might be the disadvantage of not really using our hands as much anymore to paint, to carve a sculpture? So how else might that negatively affect an individual or society? Remember, visualize. You have to train yourself to be very fast. So in the real IELTS, you can do this in a matter of seconds. Okay? So Jafar says the negative impact is killing time. I'm not sure how that relates, Jafar. You'd have to express that a little bit more clearly. Okay? Zinina says we lose our imagination from using too much technology. Yeah, imagination, it's better to say creativity. Imagination is okay, Zinina, but loss of creativity is a little bit clearer, okay, to express it as loss of creativity. So imagination and creativity are the same. Remember, you don't want to be repetitive in task 2. Okay. Sevgi says you could reduce the amount of technology. Makes us sedentary. Yes, we're moving around less, Mandeep Kaur says. Possible, but I mean, if you're sitting and painting, you're also just kind of sitting there, or if you're doing arts and crafts. People become lazy. Yeah, maybe Bagshot. It's true. So we could add laziness. And a very important skill is hand-eye coordination, right? So you're right, Farhan, that tech makes us addicted. But students, it's very important that for a high band answer, you're approaching the question from the correct direction, okay? Here we're not talking about, so careful with the question, okay? Here we're saying, what are the negatives of not using free time for arts and crafts? The question is not, so I think some of you are confusing it with this question. What are the negatives of using too much technology? Okay, so careful, this is not the question. Okay, one of the most important tips for you to get a high score, okay, so this is a tip for high IELTS scores. Your response to the task 2 question must be accurate. Okay, this is your coherence score. So if you start to answer this question, what are the negatives of using too much technology, you're not going to get as good of a band score as if you answer what are the negatives of not using free time for arts and crafts. Okay, because remember the question, and for new students in this stream, the question is in the stream description down below, so you can see it there. Okay, remember the question. The question says that people spent more time with arts and crafts in the past. Now people spend more time with technology. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this development? Okay, so currently we want to focus on the advantages of using technology, okay, in paragraph 1, and then the disadvantages of not doing arts and crafts in paragraph 2. You have to be careful not to lose yourself in your answer, okay? All right. So, what do I do now? So I have my paraphrase. I did some great critical thinking. I asked the correct questions. So I asked about what are the positives of playing with technology these days. And I asked what are the negatives of not using our free time for arts and crafts. So what do I do next? Especially when I'm practicing at home to get a high IELTS band score. What should I do next? Farhan, Ali, correct. Thesis statement, absolutely. The key sentence in your essay. So figure out the most important sentence which gives direction to your essay. So it's your thesis statement. So step number 3, thesis statement. Okay, a direct statement of argument which gives direction for your essay and tells your reader what to expect in the body paragraphs. Okay, that's what your thesis statement is. All right, so let's write a thesis statement. Okay, Amandeep, I just explained what the thesis statement is, but it's a very good question. Students, it's really important for you to know what the thesis statement is. Okay, Dharmeek, thanks for your question. Thanks for subscribing to our channel. We're doing general IELTS reading tomorrow at the same time, okay? And we're doing academic reading for IELTS in just over an hour on our Academic English Help channel. Okay, so be patient. All right. So thesis statement, write your thesis statement, students. Of course, you should be using these ideas. So technology is a good source of information, entertainment, and it's a medium to stay connected with the world. Okay? So you should use that information, and then you should use loss of creativity leads to laziness, lower hand-eye coordination as well in your thesis. So your thesis can be one long, complex sentence, or you could actually do this in two shorter sentences, okay? Make sure that your points are in the same order that your body paragraphs will be in, okay? That's very, very important. So make sure that your points, say it one more time, make sure that your thesis points are in the same order as your body paragraphs. Okay, that gives you the right structure to your essay. Here we go. I'll write my thesis statement while you're thinking of some as well. So I believe that the benefits of using free time with playing with technology is information exchange and great entertainment. Okay. However, the negatives of not dedicating leisure time to arts and crafts is loss of creativity and hand-eye and coordination. Okay, so keeping it parallel grammar. So here, students, I purposefully did two sentences just to show you that you can do your thesis as two sentences. Basically, my first sentence is body paragraph 1, and my second sentence is body paragraph 2. Okay, so with this, I'm telling the reader that this will be my body 1. My body paragraph 1 will be about the advantages of playing with technology in our free time. And then my body paragraph 2 will be dedicated to discussing how not using free time for arts and crafts is leading to the loss of creativity and coordination. So those are my two body paragraphs. Now I have very clear direction for my essay, and I can write quickly, clearly, and smoothly. All I need to do now is just pay attention to my vocabulary, my grammar, and make sure that I write a clean essay. All right, students, still waiting for those thesis statements. So there are lots of different ways to write a good thesis for this. Mostly you have to include this information. So just keep that in mind, okay? All right. So waiting for those thesis statements. While I wait, let's get going on our introductory paragraph. So remember, students, that the task 2 has, so task 2 should have 4 paragraphs: introduction, body 1, body 2, conclusion. If you're a really high-level user of English, you might have 5 paragraphs, but that's only about 1 out of every 20 students that should attempt that, and I think you know who you are. So if you have really good skills in English, you can do 3 body paragraphs, but for most students, I recommend just 2 body paragraphs, okay? All right, I see some thesis statements just popped up, so I'd like to look at those. because it is the most important sentence, okay? So Sevgi, she says, while technology is an effective source of information and entertainment, the advantages of spending free time with technology could be a medium to stay connected with the world. Okay, Sevgi, careful not to overcomplicate. You have while in your sentence, Sevgi, which is showing opposition in this case, and that's awkward, okay, because it's not opposition that you're expressing. So just start with technology. Technology is an effective source of information and entertainment. Spending free time with digital devices is a good medium to stay connected with the world. Otherwise, the disadvantages of spending leisure time with tech and not arts and crafts could be loss of creativity and lower hand-eye coordination. And I would definitely do that as a separate sentence, Sevgi. Okay, the second one. So capitalize the O on otherwise. Bagshot says, although technology has benefits, becoming lazy and losing creativity are negatives and result from not giving attention to arts and crafts in people's leisure time. Bagshot, I'm changing the end there a little bit to make sure that you stay accurate for the question, okay? The start of your thesis is okay, but don't forget that you do have to mention not spending time with arts and crafts and the negatives of that at some point, okay? Patricio says, although the use of technology in free time instead of the arts and crafts, let's reorganize your word over there, word order, Patricio. So using free time for technology rather than arts and crafts leads to lower creativity and greater laziness. However, the advantages are information and entertainment. That's what I would do, Patricio. If you didn't catch me, don't worry, Patricio. You can look at the time. It's 32 minutes. So you can think of, okay, I have to go back and check the corrected thesis at this time. Okay? All right, students, that's great. If I didn't get your thesis statement, don't worry. I'll catch you on the next one. Just stay focused here. So task 2, remember it's 4 paragraphs. For the essay, they are introduction, body 1, body paragraph 1, body 2, and conclusion. Okay, that's the standard. That's what you have to focus on. All right, that's what you need to do. You're very welcome, Patricio. All right, so first we start with the introduction. The introduction has 3 key parts: the hook, the background, and the thesis, which you already have. So that's great. Okay, the hook is just a simple, interesting statement which deals with the topic. So in this case, it's free time, and catches the reader's attention and gets you focused. I know, students, that some teachers and books say, oh, you don't need a hook in IELTS task 2. That's not true. I think it's a really good idea to have a hook. It's a point of reference for you to make sure that you have the right topic in mind. It gets your brain moving as the writer about the topic. And it definitely does help your score if you have a good hook, okay? So give me a nice hook, students. Give me a nice hook for this question, okay? Grace, don't use the word things in your writing. Always find a better noun. Simple tasks, simple activities, okay? And I definitely suggest, Grace, avoiding the use of we and us. It's author-voice confusion between first and second voice, so second person voice. So I just say avoid it. Avoid we, us in the essay. It will be clearer. Okay. Bagshot says for the hook, we could say, There has been a considerable change in the way people spend their leisure time. Bagshot, I adjusted a little bit, but it's a good hook. Okay. Bhupinder Singh Chawla says, the habits of everyone changes with the passage of time. Okay, Bhupinder, that's good. I would take out the word everyone. So people's habits change over time. Yeah. Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, sure. That's a good one. We could take that for the hook. You don't need to write hook. This is just for your information. So people's habits and hobbies change with the passage of time and advancement of technology. Sure, that could be a good one. So I'm going off a little bit off of what Bhupinder wrote and adding a bit to it. Okay, keep your hook fairly simple. You don't want to make mistakes in the first sentence. It's awkward. Sevgi says, in this digital era, there's no doubt that technology is an integral part of people's lives. Okay, Sevgi, notice the correction. So in this, otherwise it's good. In this digital era, there is no doubt that technology is an integral part of people's lives. That's okay, Sevgi, but there you're more on the controlling idea than the topic. The topic is free time. Okay, your hook, Sevgi, should be focusing more on the topic than the controlling idea. So it should be more focused on free time than on technology per se. Okay. Mohammed says, nowadays, leisure time is an important part of our lives. I think, Mohammed, that technology has, or sorry, I think, Mohammed, that leisure time has always been an important part of our lives. I think that you have the right idea. I get what you're trying to say, but you need to say it differently. Okay? So my paraphrase of free time here is habits and hobbies. Okay? So people's habits and hobbies change with the passage of time and advancement of technology. Now, we need to give background information. Okay? So background information is definition of key ideas or terms and importance of question. So here we need to define what we mean by free time, what we mean by arts and crafts, what we mean by technology. So we want to be specific. Again, students, remember that you want to be specific. So write a little bit of the background. I will do the same and then compare yours to mine. See if it's similar, see if it's as specific or if it's more general. Okay? So this is where we want our definitions, all right? Okay, so here's my definition. Okay, whenever people have a bit of escape from their daily commitments, responsibilities, these days they tend to play with their mobile phones or computers rather than paint or sculpt, as they did in the past. Okay, so I'm giving a very clear definition right away of what I understand from this question as using free time with technology instead of arts and crafts. So I define the concept of technology by use of mobile phones and computers, and I define the concept of arts and crafts with painting and sculpting. Okay, and I define free time as the time which is aside from our commitments. So going to work, taking care of family responsibilities, and so on. So that's what that definition is. Now, the reason why that's important in the introduction is because you have to be on the same page as your reader. So don't assume, don't think that your reader has the same ideas that you have. And even if you do, so even if you're like, wow, of course the reader knows that arts and crafts are painting, sculpting, woodworking, and so on, it's still good to tell your reader that so that they realize that, oh, okay, I am correct in my assumption. So, okay, I do understand what this means, okay? Grace, yes, the background in the thesis is just for the introduction. So the introduction is a unique paragraph, okay? You have to understand that the structure of the introduction, Grace, is not the same as body paragraphs, okay? Farhan says, lately people tend to devote more and more time to cell phones and computer games instead of passing their free time with paint and brush on canvas. Paint and brush on canvas, okay? Farhan, very nice though. I like it. Okay, so you've taken a different approach for your definition, but you've done a good job. And you don't have to explain every kinds of arts and crafts. Just give a couple of the main ones like painting, drawing, sculpting. Okay, as long as you mention one or two, that's fine. Don't use words like etc. and so on. It's unnecessary. Your reader will be clear at this point. So that's good. All right. Now, why is the question important? So at this point, you have half of the background. The other half of the background is, why is this question important? Right? So why are we talking about how do people spend their free time? What's an answer to that? So why should we discuss the question of how do people spend their free time? Why even talk about this? Bagshot says, most people use their valuable time to either paint or carve half a century ago whenever they were free from their job or study. But these days, they dedicate that time to playing with their phones or computers. Sure, Bagshot, that works. Just notice the corrections there, okay? Farhan says, because that's the main idea. Rekha, good to see you in class. One of our academic English Help Channel members as well. Hi, Rekha. To figure out the change, I'm not sure about that. Keep it simple. Usually, especially in the IELTS, Task 2, the importance of the questions are quite simple. In many, many cases, it's because the question has a huge impact on the development of the individual and society. You can use that for a lot of different Task 2 questions. So the importance here, I would keep this very simple and just state that the way people utilize their free time has great impact on both the individual and society. Okay, so it's just that simple, right? How we spend our free time obviously has a massive impact on us as the individual and on the greater society. And we don't have to go far, just think of the TV generation. If we sit in front of the TV in our free time, what happens? We get lazy, we get fat, we get unhealthy, right? That's negative for our health, the individual, and Now society has to take care of us. We need medical attention. We need help for daily tasks. So it's a burden on society as well. So of course that's important. Okay. So Marina, you're getting into specifics, but careful. It's the introduction. Remember, the introduction, you take the general idea. So you take the big global idea, and then you reduce it down into your focused thesis. All right. So you're going from the big idea of people's habits and free time and hobbies change through history with the advancement of technology. You narrow that down to people these days are using computers and cell phones in their free time. And then you give your thesis of the advantages of this are and the negatives of no longer doing arts and crafts are. And then now you're into the focused body paragraphs. That's the right structure for task 2. So all I have to do now is add my thesis, and since I have my thesis, I can just really tack it in, okay? So I can just glue it to the end of this introductory paragraph, all right? So all I'm going to do is just copy it, paste it, and then I have my introduction. And then when you're practicing this at home, read it, okay? Make sure that you're doing well, that you've really focused in on the right question, and you have a good approach here. So let's start from the top. This is the introductory paragraph. People's habits and hobbies change with passage of time and advancement of technology. Whenever people have a bit of escape from their daily commitment these days, they tend to play with their mobile phones or computers rather than paint or sculpt as they did in the past. The way people utilize their free time has a great impact on both the individual and society. I believe that the benefits of using leisure time just using free a little bit too much, so I'm avoiding that. Leisure time playing with technology is information exchange and great entertainment. However, the negatives of not dedicating such time to arts and crafts, just avoiding repetition, okay? You should do that at home when you're reviewing. Such time to arts and crafts is loss of creativity and coordination, okay? And now I have my body 1 and body 2. Oftentimes, and you'll find this especially for those of you who are university students, the introduction takes almost as much time as the rest of the essay. Why? Because that's where you establish your ideas. Once you have a good introduction, the rest of the essay comes out quite quickly, smoothly, and naturally, okay? Pachu Yadav says, the time spent with hobbies is arts and crafts. Okay, Pachu, I'm trying to fix what you're saying. You have a lot of repetition there, so let me just read it as is first, and then I'll do a global rehaul. So the time spent in spare time is free time and arts and crafts made by people's hands, such as pottery, digital devices, or technological media like mobile games. Okay, Pachu, we really have to reorganize that to make sense. You have a lot of repetition and awkward phrasing, so we need to reword that, Pachu. You need to rework that, okay? All right, students, so now we get into body paragraph 1. Body paragraph 1 is about the advantages of technology. So body paragraph 1, advantages of technology. Here you have a topic sentence, okay? And with your topic sentence, you now continue with your point number 1 from your thesis, which is believing that the benefits of playing with technology is information exchange and great entertainment. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. Go ahead, students, write a topic sentence. So basically paraphrase this first thesis point, give it some more detail. Okay, that's what you need to do. Farhan says, sir, can we write infotainment, information, and entertainment together? No, I wouldn't do that, Farhan. I wouldn't combine those two words. It's a good question, but careful not to get too into kind of slang words or strange modern expressions that aren't quite mainstream yet. So I wouldn't say infotainment. I understand it, but it's a bit weird. Okay. All right. So continue with your topic sentence. This is what I would write, something like this. Give me your topic sentence as well. Yeah, Mandeep, you're right. It's too informal, but it's also too kind of urban dictionary. So you don't want to use words that are fresh on the English language market. So stay away from those. Okay. So body paragraph 1. Clearly, one of the major advantages of modern devices include the ability to connect people as well as provide music and movies for fun. Okay, so something like that for your topic sentence. It's a paraphrase and a detailed definition of thesis point number 1. So clearly one of the major advantages of modern devices include the ability to connect people as well as provide music and movies for fun. All right, so that's going into the advantages. And then your body paragraph needs to have explanation coming next. Now, unfortunately, students, I've run out of time for this essay, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to schedule a class next week, maybe for the first class on Wednesday of next week, to finish this essay. Okay, so tomorrow we're doing general IELTS reading. Then we'll have a few days of break, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, what I will do is I will continue this essay with you. Until then, you can think about how to finish this essay, body paragraph 1 and 2, and the conclusion. And then join on Wednesday to see if it is similar to the way that I would do it. Okay? Keep up the good work, and remember, when you're studying tasks for task 2 at home, the most important paragraph that you should really master before anything else is the introduction. If you have good planning and you can write a good introduction for your task 2 essay, the rest of it will be quite smooth and you should be able to get a nice high band score. Okay? Bagshot, Jas, those are some good topic sentences as well. Okay, I just had a quick read at them. Students, in about 30 minutes, I will be doing academic IELTS reading on our Academic English Help channel for the Academic IELTS. So that will be an academic reading passage, which is good to study and learn even if you're a general IELTS student, because Section 3 in general IELTS reading is very similar to academic IELTS reading passages, so keep that in mind. All right, students, that's it for me for this class. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for attending. Thank you for your contributions. I hope you picked up some valuable information, hopefully some new vocabulary and sentence structures as well. And if it's late in your country, then make sure to take some time for rest and spend your leisure time, not just with your mobile phone, but hey, maybe paint a picture. All right, bye for now.